Hi, a very warm welcome to Dusty Shelf Collectibles and a very warm welcome to the Hornby Visitor Centre. If you're not aware, the Hornby Visitor Centre is actually in the old Hornby factory in Margate. So if you go online, you'll find it online, the address and opening hours. But as you walk in, on the left hand side there's a vast array of Scalextrics, all the current cars in the range and a few sets that you can see there. And then on the right hand side there's a huge array of all of the Airfix kits that are currently in the range. I popped down today because Hornby are having an ex-display sale, and here you can see some of the train sets that they've got discounted. This is all in the back room, and typically everything in here was roughly around about a third off. Now my plan was to do an in-depth video and show you what was here and talk through everything, but I went into the museum first, and when I came out they had closed this, or were closing it, so I had to rush around quickly and just grabbed a little bit of footage here to give a kind of idea of what's in there. So obviously lots of Scalextrics cars there, as I say, about a third off. And then they've got the box sets here of multiple cars in, sort of collector set, but you need to be careful because they're marked up as super slot. They're not marked up as Scalextrics, so obviously they're a Spanish brand. A lot of Airfix kits, all different sizes of kits, but again these are kits that have been out for a long time. These aren't the latest kits in there. The other thing to mention is, as I say, most of it was about a third off. There were a few items that hadn't been discounted. Lots of Corgi there, as you can see, various different ranges and bits and pieces in there. And then sadly the whole of the Bassett Oak range, the steampunk range, it was all there and it was all discounted. I find that quite sad. I thought it was quite intriguing and something new and novel, but yeah, sadly didn't take off. So there's some Hornby coaches there, Arnold, River Rossi, all the brands are represented here. Some buildings, but again, you've got to watch the discounts on these. Some of them were very good, and it was the first day. There you can see some of the Hornby locos and things there. So this is filmed on the first day. This is Monday the 10th of July. So this will be running all this week. I guess they're going to discount further, I don't know, or whether they're going to have more stock. I don't know how it's going to play out, but basically normally this is only done over a weekend, but at the moment, because the shop is going for a full refit at the end of the week, this is actually running from the Monday right the way through until the Sunday. Right at the top there we've got the Rovex set and vintage Airfix coming down. These are obviously the pre-runners to Scalextric, and another set down the bottom there, and the good old 3.5 inch rocket that Hornby did back in the late 80s. And then over this side, this one intrigues me quite a lot. The bottom of the Airfix flight deck, I actually had one of those as a kid. It's the strangest thing ever. So you basically attach a wire to a tree or something random in the garden, and then using the joystick you move the wire to bring the plane into land on the runway. Quite a strange little thing. There's a couple of other Frog kits, I'm not familiar with those, and obviously Meccano Railways there, and an Airfix Galleon kit down the bottom there. Obviously one of the, just come back over, I missed that, the 1930s Airfix Bentley. That's beautiful. And underneath that the Battle Zone, Hornby Battle Zone. Don't see many of them around now. Let's take a wander in. A little bit of display there about the factory here at Margate. And greeted with Hornby's Thomas and Friends, Edward Henry Gordon, and Flying Scotsman at the end there, the next road down, Percy Thomas, Ben, Toby, Bertie, and then what's down the bottom here? Oh, Annie and Clarabelle, and some of the other carriages that would come in the different sets. Alright, this is more like my kind of thing. So, Meccano O gauge down the bottom there. Again, some more carriages. Clockwork O gauge Nord Brown 31801. A couple of lovely coaches over the back there. Hope the camera's picking those up. And that's a beautiful model. Queen Elizabeth, beautiful model, Princess Elizabeth. And what intrigues me about these tin plates, if you look at the building there, how sharp the corners are on the roof, and they leave kids to play with those. Amazing. First layout that we have here is Thomas the Tank Engine. Push the button and off he goes. The other one's going as well. Quite sweet really for the kids. Wasn't the best idea I had because I had to wait for it to stop because of the noise. But anyway, onto a couple of train sets here. So Hornby 003 rail train set. Absolutely beautiful. Beautiful condition. Well, you expect that, I guess. It's part of the archive. Another train set down the bottom there. Onto some of the Hornby 00 accessories. And there's another 00 set. Wonderful condition. Tank good set. And then down the bottom here an 8F. Let me just adjust my camera because I fear of not getting these pictures. That's the one. So we've got the Crapello Deltic, and here's an 8F, again Hornby 00, and again over the back there some more accessories, the station building and the level crossing. On to sort of trying out era, so we've got the rocket there, and over the back the Davy Crockett. The Davy Crockett is actually one of the ones I'm looking out for. I've not owned one of those before, so definitely quite intrigued by that. And then down the bottom here we've got the Rovex in the middle there. We've got the Triang diesel rail unit over the back. Very, very nice. Very similar to the one I did a few weeks ago. And they're RS2 switcher bobo. We've got an exhibit here on original tabletops, the first time round, 1959 to 1964, 68, that sort of period. You see the sort of scales when these were released by Triang. And at the end here, the Rovex Princess, and you can see the plungers on the back of it. I'm just going to turn around because this layout's just come to life. Unfortunately very, very dark, and I don't think the camera's going to pick this one up. You just make out the lights on the front of the engine. Yes, far too dark. Quite a nice looking layout, but yeah, a little bit too dark for my camera. Let's see if it can pick up the lights on the front of the engine as it goes past. We'll just come back over here then. So as I say, this is the Princess class loco from Rovex, and you can see the two plungers on the back there. I've spoken about those in a couple of the videos. The Hornby Railways class 31, Rovex Triang class 31 diesel at the top there.
Because that's the one we show, so that's the one you can actually use.
Here you can see some of the live steam models. You can see the complexity of these engines. Absolutely marvellous, aren't they? Look at that. Piece of art in terms of engineering. So if you're not aware, these are actually 00 gauge live steam models. And basically they've got an immersion heater on the in the rear there. They pump the steam through, and then all of this intricacy that you see in the cab here is little valves to open and push the steam down into the pistons. Absolutely marvellous. Got a River Rossi O gauge loco here. And I've just seen there's a window down the bottom here, and every now and again a train flies past, which is quite a nice touch. Yeah, very, very good. Another River Rossi there. Let's just see if I catch that train again as it goes past. There it goes. And then over here we've got a full display on Hornby 00. So there's the girder bridge, the platform station, the tunnel, and various fronts of the different catalogues in the display here. And then a couple of beautifully preserved sets. There's this one at the top here, which has got the castle in there, Carefully Castle. And then another one just down below with the diesel goods train set. And then look at this one down here. I can't read what the loco is, but I'm sure you'll see it in the video. And then a couple of carriages behind it. And then again at the top here, various accessories. And then the postal wagon set with its drop off of parcels, etc. And the very ornate Art Deco station. Now I may go back to my 00 layout and actually go for some of these period buildings rather than the ones I've put on there at the moment. I kind of had that plan to start with and then deviated from it, but we'll see. But the Lionel USA standard gauge loco, beautiful condition, that is lovely. Made in 1937, that one. And over here, a Bassett Low A1 Pacific Flying Fox. Again, absolutely pristine, but then you know you'd expect it. This is part of the Hornby archive. Another window here with trains going past. Again, awfully dark for my camera. Some information there about Frank Hornby, Sir Frank Hornby, and over this side the Lyons brothers, which you know there's a whole history about how the company has passed from ownership to ownership and swallowed up other companies as they went. I won't go into that in this video. Let's start down at this end. So we've got several walls here with different advertising on, and then the Coronation class locos. Absolutely beautiful. They are exquisite models. Down the bottom here, you've got Evening Star in the middle there, and obviously one of the spam cans to one side. And West Country there. At the top, the Wedgwood series. Can you remember the sets that they did that came with a plate? So it'll be one of the Wedgwood locos sold in a set with a plate. The Southern 729, and down here an Intercity 125 West Country. Some more models here. These are getting a little bit earlier, so these are around 94, 92. Again, Britannia class. There's obviously an A4 and an A1 there. And down the bottom here, these are 1993, 1992, and this one at the end here is 1996. Going back in time a little bit more, we've got the Eddie Stobart Special Edition. One I've been looking out for. I've not actually got any of those. I'm quite intrigued by that. That's 1999. And a Class 90 for 1990. And Duchess at the end there. These again, 1989. Princess class, Lady Patricia. They're in a Schools, which is 1992. And Class 8 diesel there, 1992 again. And back just a tiny little bit, 1985, we've got a B17, and then Fowler class here, 1992 to 1994. So start again, 1982 to 1984, and then Spitfire here, 1981 to 1985. Boys Brigade, 1983 release, and the County of Bedford, 1983 to 84, and the Princess Royal, that's an 84 release, that one. Back, it's probably about the same period actually, 1979, 1981, these locos. There's a Fowler there, and the pug at the end, and a couple of locos here. Obviously something missing from there, but these are 1979 and 1981, and coming back a little bit more, 1969 to 1975, the Class 08 diesel, and the Ginty there, 1973. Over the back there, 1975, a Britannia class. And then down the bottom here, Hornby Hobbies Irish High Neck, 1976. And Princess Victoria there, another Ginty, this one 1973 to 74. And then over the back we've got Black 5, 1976 release, and an Class 47 diesel there. And then in this one, you can see we've got 1978 to 79 3F there. The good old Great Western 040 there, from 1978 to 80. And over the back there, there's a Britannia from 1971. And then down the bottom here, you see the first of one of the ones that intrigued me when I came in last time, which was the L90 Hornby Hobbies London Transport. Did a video on that one recently. If you haven't seen it, go and check that one out. Quite a rare and unusual loco. That one dating from 1978. Over here, another 3F Ginty from 1978. Duchess from 1977. And then we've got the Dock Shunter in 1972, and over the back there a Rovex Triang LMS Princess class, again 1971 to 74. So that's that area. Let's come through into the Scalextrics. There's wonderful displays in here. See these 1968, well this one's 1958, this Maserati, and the Bugatti is 1963. And these are obviously like the sort of very early Scalextrics. You see the type of tracks there. And then we move on a little bit, and yeah, you see the cars has changed slightly and the track is becoming more familiar into what we know and love. There's a record down here, Raw Motor Racing Sounds, 45 RPM record, made in 1960, and beautiful cars here. I do have a couple of these in my collection, but yeah, I don't know what voltage they run on, but I find it very hard to move them. Yeah. Quite intriguing motors in there. I'll do a video on those at some point. You see the buildings over the back here. Some of these are still being made. Let's move on a little bit. This is sort of moving more into my era. Down the bottom here, the steering control. That's a new one on me. I've not seen that before. Don't know how that worked. And this is a controller that I sort of was familiar with as a child. And the Porsches, we had a set of Porsches when I was at home. You see over the back of the grandstand still. And TR7 at the front here. And over the back there, the classic start that you'd wind up with the big button on the side, and then pushing the button on the top, that would give a countdown for a few seconds and display the well, move the red light to green as a go, and then obviously you take off around the track for your race. Classic humpback bridge with the Metro. More robust cars. These are all very you know, very robust compared to today's models. You can see here, just beginning to get a little bit of detail on the cars, not too much, but just a little bit more. And then moving on to this one, this is where we're really starting to see the transition. So this is around turn of the century, so 1999, 2000, and you can see the racing cars here. And the Benetton, beautiful. And then at the top there, the Jaguar XJ220. And quite intrigued by the controller there in the middle. Not seen that one before. And now we start moving into sort of the modern era, I guess you call it the modern era of Scalextrics. Where we've got the box sets with the two cars in there, with Ayrton Senna and obviously Nigel Mansell. Police car, Lamborghini police car, and the Vauxhall Vectra from the police 50th anniversary, made in 2002. And then over the back here, these were reproduction tin plate models. I did a whole series of these. Actually, I'm not sure if these are the tin plate ones. These might just be the sport ones, but they did do some tin plate ones. And then the Scalextric motorbike. What a wonderful idea. They were fantastic, but never really took off, which was a shame. I thought they were quite intriguing myself. And then we got various police cars at the end here. And this one here, this was released as a special edition, which came with a ticket to the Hornby Museum, if I remember rightly. Let's have a look in here. So, this is now getting onto real detailed models. So digital was talking about the track change with where you could change lanes with the push of a button. You see the digital controller here. So we're starting to put chips in the cars and being able to change lanes. Over the back there, use digital start sequence, and none of this winding up and pushing buttons anymore. All digitally controlled, counts your laps and everything. And you can see the camper van on the end there. Back corner, the McLaren F1. And there's a couple of monster trucks, and the ARC system, which I guess is the modern control for Scalextrics. So special edition models here. We've got the Only Fools and Horses box set. Obviously the Batmobile that's in circulation from this year, but also the previous Tumbler model. Very, very fond of that one. That one I do have one of those, and it's a really lovely model. And did come in the box set that you see down the bottom here. So basically in this one right at the bottom here, where it's the sports set, you got the Tumbler, and also you can just make out the picture of the police car there that came in a box set together. 2008 Italian job, beautiful set with the 3 minis there, and obviously just underneath that the Starsky and Hutch set. That's a really nice one as well. Two really nice cars in there. Bit of a display there of a spiral track with different cars on the way up, and the same over this side. These are some of the original patterns for obviously back in the 60s we'd make a large pattern of the tool here, and then using a pantograph it would scale down into the mould. You can see here the original pattern, and then the scaled down pattern from the pantograph. In the bottom, a couple of 40th anniversary minis, and a few other collectibles in there. A few other bits and pieces here. Phoenix Racing, made in 2010. I don't know much about those, I'm afraid. This was a beautiful set, the Jaguar D-Type and Mercedes 300. I did get that one when it came out. It's a very, very nice set. Beautiful, beautiful cars in there. And again, some vintage models down the bottom here. And a breakdown of a, again, detailed car there. I won't go through all these boards, but there's plenty to read if you so wish. And then in the centre is a track. Very nicely done layout, very well put together, just with a couple of these sort of European outline logos running around the outside. yeah, I'm not sure some of these buildings, certainly over the back there, we've got the Harry Potter station building, but these do look like Fowler or Kidbury, these buildings on here. Quite a well executed mountain range at the end there. Little display here on River Rossi and Lima. Now, I don't know much about these, so I'm just going to show the locos. So there's various ones in there, and you see on the box back there the presentation pack, which is the North Milan Railways, 1920s, made in China, circa 2008. I do like these coaches down here, look at those. 2009 coaches from River Rossi. And over the back there, the Orient Express coach set. There's a few Trans-European locomotives in here. All very lovely models, aren't they? Really are nice. More River Rossi models here. Right, a few Lima locos in here. You see up the back there the Thalys that we looked at in the other week in Engage. That's obviously a HO gauge made by Lima. There's some beautiful coaches over the back there. What are they? Deutsche Bundesbahn with the with the panoramic seating. Very nice coaches those. And then the Lima Intercity 125, and those accessories, which are the the Lima coach wash, and then a few end gauge parts here. Right, I've got some very early River Rossi models here. These are all around 1948, 1950s time. There is a 1996, which is the blue one over the back there, but most of these are dated from the 50s. Beautiful diesel rail cars here. So look, 1947, what's that one? 48 and 1952. Lovely shape to those. And then a couple of sets over there from 1955 and 1967. And at the top here, we've got some larger models from the American range. Actually made in Italy, 1973, but American outline. You can see there over the back there, Casey Jones, 1969. All of these in the larger scale. And then the good old HO model here that do come up from time to time. They're quite common in the UK. Lovely models, all of these. Look at that. Oh, look at that one over the back there. River Rossi O gauge. Bayard, Longbridge, 1839. Made in Italy in 1991. Little box set there. And a couple of River Rossi cars and their boxes to the side here. Let's just move over to this display here. We've got the River Rossi Big Boy. Wonderful. In HO scale there, and then here in N scale. Wonderful models. Absolutely one of my favourite models, those are. And just while we're on the subject of that, they've got the Challenger just in the cabinet below. Lovely. A few other various American outline locos here. Southern Pacific loco there in the middle. And Santa Fe Blue Goose here. And down the bottom, just show these to you. That's quite an unusual one, the Southern Pacific Ford cab. That's dating from 1966, 1967. And just behind that, in the red, white and blue colours, is the Milwaukee Railroad Heavy Pacific, made in 1974. Beautiful, really do like those. Here, you can see here, SNCF, I guess rail cars, or auto rail as they say. And the double-decker carriages that you'd find running across parts of Germany and the Netherlands. I should have mentioned this is one of Hornby's mainland Europe brands, Electro-Train. Don't know how you pronounce that, but I think I've got it right. Electro-Train. So this is all from that range. You see the Coca-Cola wagon here, very lovely made models. And look at the detailing on this wagon at the front. Very, very nice. Now moving on to Juve. Again, another one of Hornby's mainland Europe brands. There's a couple of sets in here. I don't know much about Juve, to be honest, other than a couple of logos that I've had. Don't run very well. Mind you, I do like that, this one in the middle here. Very nice. Let's go over and have a look at Arnold. Let's say the museum isn't just Hornby. It covers across all of their brands. Now obviously Arnold is predominantly Engage, but they've got some beautiful models on display here. This one from 1992. Got a 1980s carriage set here with its got a 1980s set here again with the panoramic seating, and down the bottom there, there's down the bottom here in the middle you can see the 2000 release of the German ice train. A couple more locos down here. Again, all of this is Arnold. The Riviera set in Engage, and this one, which is the Rheingold set, and its original publicity brochure in the background. Absolutely beautiful models. Little layout here from Arnold. Just push the button, see if something's going to happen. There we go. Just wait for that to come around again. This one at the top here, look at that. How lovely is that? That's in Engage. That's 1994 release. Beautiful. Or an express coach set in Engage there, just over the back. And just a couple more models from Arnold here. Quite a good selection of Engage here. And then of course Corgi, being a major brand of Hornby, we've got all of the various James Bond cars there. Up the top here, the Beatles, Paddington, My First Scale Electrics, and down here Thunderbirds, Wacky Races. That's pretty cool. And then over here, some of the other IPs that Hornby have run over the years. Obviously the Simpsons. We've got Harry Potter train set here. Speeder bikes, these are a Scale Electrics edition that would run on the Scale Electrics track. And a few bits and pieces here from Doctor Who and also Wallace and Gromit. Don't know why that. Just an area here looking at the development of models. Obviously computer aided design, the CAD. New techniques in 3D printing to make the prototypes, check they go together, then milling of the tools, and you can see down here an injection mould tool. So you've obviously got two sides to the tool that form the cavity that the material is squirted into. You can see there in the middle the injection point and how it comes out on the completed product. And obviously this side you can see the cavity, and you can imagine that if that was upside down in the cavity, how that would form on the tool there. And this is your injection mould machine. And you see the complexity of some of the mouldings that are done now. But basically this would sit inside this machine. It would push the two halves of the tool together, clamping it together, and then from the hopper here, the screw and the heater would then push the molten plastic into the tool, where there's there'd be lots of water jackets in there to cool it down rapidly before the part is opened, or the tool is opened, and then the part is ejected. The little pins inside the tool would push up and push it off of the master. And various other machines here for embossing, for doing the decoration, and hand painting, hand finishing, all still very much part of creating the models here at Hornby. And beautiful layout here. Just going to push some of the buttons and get some things moving. success getting anything moving here. No, unfortunately nothing's going to move, so let's just look at the layout. Beautifully done. Look at the double suspension bridge running across the front here. Look at the turntable area. Just shows the art of the possible with Hornby buildings. Let me come around this side. Sorry, there's lots of chairs in the way. Give you some idea of appreciation of the size of the layout. There was some bits and pieces in here last time I came, but obviously this area's been cleared out. They must have plans. Let's walk through. Moving into Airfix, but just various Airfix kits. There's one at the end that I do want to show you. The glues, the Humble, again all Hornby brands. Various kits. Again, injection mould tool for a loco cab. You can see the cavity and the mould there. English Electric Lightning, showing how the kit is broken apart. And a little diorama there with a couple of Airfix planes. Some of the Airfix cars. I've done this one at the front here in the past. Put that on my own little freeze, and the fire engine there. I remember doing one of those as a kid. Battle scene. More modern warfare. Some of the larger Airfix kits, beautifully made, absolutely lovely. And the ships over the back there, Spitfire here, that's a Hurricane, sorry, Lancaster there. Some of the military models. And here, an airfield diorama. Now this is the kit I particularly wanted to show you. So this one down here, which is the first ever Airfix model kit. It's actually a promotional kit for the Ferguson Tractor Company from 1949. Now I've been looking long and hard to get one of these for my collection. When they do come up for sale, they're hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pounds. But yeah, it intrigues me every time I come in here to see sort of the genesis of where all this came from. A few other kits at the top there. Right, and now we have what I consider to be one of the best layouts in the country. Let's try and look through this in detail. So we start off here with the sort of town scene. You can see the clock. If you ever come to Margate, this clock tower is actually in the middle of the town. Well, it's right on the seafront actually. As you drive in, you can't miss it. It's right on the corner of the seafront. Over here, look at the goods yard here. I'll just get the train coming past. Over the back of the way the scenery is done. The way the scenery is done with the hillside and the cars climbing up and disappearing into the tunnel. The station area. Absolutely marvellous, but this, look how far it goes. Huge layout. I just filmed the trains going past one more time. Got one coming towards us, one coming from behind us. And if you remember, I did a model of the Hornby factory for my layout. Well, it's very similar to this one that's here. Another goods yard. Farmyard scene. Petrol station down here. and the windmill. You'll see this windmill on the back of my layout occasionally. As I say, the trains are taking forever because they're running right the length of this room. Absolutely marvellous. Now I'm guessing that when I was in the other room I kept seeing the trains disappearing past that small window in the dark, and I think this is the loop of track which is obviously going round into the other side of this wall, which is where the exhibition on Hornby 00 was. Yeah, so you can see the train disappears off round the end here. Yeah, and then would be go past the windows in the other room. Quite inspired, really. And then finally at this end we've got another village scene, just with a Great Western Railway loco running around. Lovely. Little bit here on the new range, the Hornby TT range. Coca-Cola, one of their IP brands at the moment, and various other little bits of wagons, again Hornby TT, some of the models that have just been released. Through here, a Harry Potter layout. So I think this is beautifully executed, this one. I don't know much about Harry Potter, but I'm going to sound like I know a little bit. So there's Hagrid's cottage in the middle there. Make sure I'm getting that in the shot. And the Hogwarts Express running around the periphery here. Now I'm really making it up. I think it's Hogsmeade is the station. You can see over the back there. This is the trains coming in now. And Hogwarts Castle just over there on the hillside. And some more Corgi and Ledo here. So start with the Corgi fairground attractions. You can see there the Carter's steam engine that I reviewed the other week, and here's some of the other steam engines in the range, and you can see these beautiful engines here. A lot of Corgi cars here from the ranges over the years, and some of the Ledo cars down the bottom there. Over this side, the James Bond releases with the ejector seat. Been released several times over the years, but always popular, always big success. Eddie Stobart there, and then Doctor Who, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, Wallace and Gromit. Some of these gold collector's editions. You can see over the back of the gold Mini, absolutely beautiful. Chipperfield Circus, and 40 Towers and some of the other IP brands here. At the top here there's the Space Shuttle, Moonraker Space Shuttle from James Bond, very very popular. And this over the back here, the Lotus John Player Special set. I remember having those as a child. Can you imagine giving child toys now with tobacco advertising on it? And then down the bottom here, a rocket launcher, yellow submarine at the bottom. Again, more of their sort of IP brands. Some real vintage stuff here. This is Metoy. Lovely collection here. Here's some of the special editions that we've done. Here we've got the Bloodhound SSC model, and branding again with Corgi and Dairy Milk, Aston Villa, Celtic Football Club, etc. There's the Paul Smith Mini. That's very collectible, that one. in here. Just I find this quite interesting. Just some vintage pictures of the factory here in Margate. So this is we are. If I look at this map here, as you see at the moment, we are in this area of the factory, and this is the frontage you saw that I put on my layout recently. As I say, we've walked down the side here and come in through here, so we're in this little area here. But the rest of this factory, they're actually transforming it into a railway museum. So I believe there's a Eurostar already in there, but I think Bitton's in there, and that will open as a one-to-one collection eventually, with full-size steam engines obviously against the models, become a museum in its own right. Quite looking forward to that. And various pictures here of the production lines. Yeah, crazy to think what was here once. Even sorry, I've just noticed as I walked out. These are the portraits of the Miss Rovex competition, dating from 1955 right the way through to 1979. And then finally in the exhibition is the brand Porsche. And these are all kit models that well, they are extremely expensive, and you can see the sort of detail. Absolutely perfect models, but yeah, very collectible, very expensive. Alfa Romeo, Fiat, and these are the more modern versions. So Ferrari F40, you can see looking in the engine bay. Testarossa. Testarossa over here, and then there's another F40. Got a Porsche 911, Ferrari F40 GT, and then these are the current models. And just for a point of reference, the Lamborghinis, I think they're about, the kit's about £800, I think, £700–800, should you want to build one.
I can't see no one.
Wow, it's a lovely book there, but £45. They've got a cafe in here. Do come down here. Here we go, there's one of the Porsche kits, look. £789. That's the new one, which is the Lotus 72. Beautiful model, just extremely expensive. This I think is a particularly nice model from Oxford. Coca-Cola biplane. A Christmas wagon. Nigel Gresley and various Hornby 00, the new release. Some corgi sets. And as you saw, I had a quick run round looking at their sort of end of year sale. That was had to be quick because they were closing. But if you come down here any time, there is a clearance corner, and there's always good things to see in this area. Some of it's reasonable discount, others not, but yeah, there's quite a few bits and pieces here if you're that way interested. Some of the older locos here that have been used, probably run on the model layout behind me.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's 14.39, please.
Yeah, it's quite enjoyable in there. I'm quite fond of coming down here, and with my daughter living not too far away, it means I can come down here quite often. And if you've got the Hornby membership, if you are part of the Hornby Club, then you do get into the museum free of charge, which is quite good if you make frequent visits. Some interesting bits and pieces in there. It's not too big, but it's worth a visit. And as I say, the shop does have a discount area, and today was next display time. Unfortunately, what I managed to do is I spent too long in the museum, and when I came out of the museum, the ex-display area had closed, so all I could do is do a quick run round in there and just shoot a couple of snapshots to show the stock that's in there, but couldn't go too much into detail on the camera because they were trying to close it. But anyway, I hope that was of interest, and we'll leave that one there. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.